Donna Cameron's work is?
Donna Cameron's work is?
Donna Cameron's work is?
Donna's work is a trip inside and outside the two-dimensional image.
Donna Cameron's work is the inhabitant of my dreams.
Transformative.
Not just for her, but for whoever opens themselves up to it.
The work of a person who is at the height of their powers.
Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking for her use of media.
It's really integral to my own existence.
Donna's work is an inspiration to me and to many, many other people.
Hi, my name is Donna Cameron. I'm a filmmaker and an artist. I've been working in the arts for over 40 years. I have been a professor at New York University since 1994. I have taught courses in filmmaking, photography. My background in the arts is quite complex. I began drawing pictures as a child. I was picked out in grammar school by the nuns to go to the board every Friday and draw a large picture on the board. I was delighted that my talent for drawing was admired. So from early on, my thinking and drawing and picture making has been about memory and form and the story, but abstracting the story, kind of the inside of the story. Studied painting and drawing, and then discovered animation, discovered black and white photography with Harry Callahan, also sculpture and glassmaking and other forms of art, and I wanted to study all the forms of art. But at that time, that was the 70s, and most art schools were departmentalized, so I was not allowed to do that. Now there's even departments dedicated to what was known as transmedia. But at that time, I was a pioneer, and there were many of us in my generation who were pioneers in blending all the arts, and now it's just a given. You go onto the web and everyone is combining photography and writing and picture making and painting, and no one bats an eyelash, but then it was new. In 1987, I was given my first one-woman show at MoMA, focusing on my collage cinema and my paper emulsion cinema. At that time, my mentor was Shirley Clark, a very important woman filmmaker, one of two. There was Maya Deren and Shirley Clark, and she took me under her wing. She was really terrific with me, and it was very important for me to have a female mentor. Throughout my career, I've been honored with exhibitions of my work across the world. New York, Chicago, Paris, Venice, London, Boulder, Boston, Miami, Washington, D.C., and Havana.
Well, Donna's very persistent, that's for sure. She's constantly working, and given the nature of what it is to be an artist and get your work shown, particularly in the 21st century, in the digital age, the work just oozes, poetic visions.
It really brings together the highest artistic forms and craft with a vision of the public and the viewer experiencing the work through light.
Donna Cameron's work is beautiful and something I love very much.
My first films were very much involved with paper. I collected newspapers and I worked on them to create emulsions. And from that, I began to create a diapositive photography method, which later became my cinematic paper emulsion, which is basically an original tool that employs principles of what scientists call persistence of vision. And I was able to secure a patent on it in 2001.
There's this quality in her work that is really compelling to me, because she's sort of harnessed the magnification of film so that things that you otherwise would look at with the naked eye become revealed. So with the paper emulsion, you're seeing the image in a different way, and you're also seeing all the grains and pulp of the paper magnified, and that creates its own magic.
Persistence of Vision is a transmedia show at Kimmel Center. Kimmel Center is a very special place on the NYU campus. Since its building and opening in the early 2000s, it has enriched campus life immensely.
Our gallery program consists of multiple venues. So we have more traditional gallery walls, and we also have the beautiful vitrine windows along the corner of LaGuardia Place and West 3rd Street. That, of course, is a public art space.
This show came about through a conversation I had 3 years ago with the curator, Pamela Jean Tinnen. We were talking about multimedia art, and Pamela became interested in my concepts of transmedia. Pamela came and selected work she thought would work together in the Kimmel Gallery windows where she curates.
It was particularly interesting to me because it was so layered and interesting to me because I'm interested in so many different kinds of things as well. In particular, these different ideas of old technology, using things in other ways than they were originally intended, and just being so playful. I think that's something that really struck me about her, is that she had this curiosity to just kind of do whatever and see what would come of it. I mean, I've worked with this space for a while now and in a lot of different ways, but occasionally, and this is one of them, it's something that's particularly passionate for me. I knew that there were certain pieces I absolutely wanted to show, that they had to be in it. And then other ones, it was a spatial conversation. It was what works with this other piece, and will that work in this specific environment? But with her, it's so much fun to do that, and we kind of just brought them here and played around and added to them, and it took a couple weeks, but at the end I was just very, very, very pleased.
This show is unique because it's on 24/7 and available to viewers 24/7. The windows are especially interesting because they're little theaters, and the theater performance of the objects at night, the composition is very different than the composition during the day, and so the work takes on many different meanings. The light cascades down, and inside this plate glass exhibit space is a composition. So each of these windows is in itself a composition containing other compositions, both formal compositions and the compositions of chance that once we hung and arranged the formal compositions, that I threw in here and allowed gravity, moment, chance to arrange. It's mysterious, and you're walking by and it's like a little cinema.
Really thrilled to see her get this kind of recognition. These are big streets here, LaGuardia, 3rd Street, and for her to command a 2-month public art exhibit really is, in my view, is her getting sort of the recognition from NYU and from the downtown community that she really justly deserves.
My first impression was like I was just proud to be her student, and to me it was also a victory for women filmmakers, and I was also really just amazed and proud of her as an artist. And it was great having not had my son at that time to come and show him, you know, window by window, and be like, yeah, this is my teacher. And he's just like, what? You know, the passersby are like, what? You know.
When a show comes along that really takes advantage of that 18-inch depth of space and really makes a show more sculptural, that's when I get more interested. And Donna's show consists of surfboards and scraps of film and paintings and a US patent and some other very interesting things. So it's sort of impossible to walk by and not become engaged with it.
It's a really compelling show too. It shows her evolution and sort of this technique that she developed. So I think for anyone who's not familiar with her work, it's a good introduction. And for those of us who's been following it, it's really a good affirmation for her. And as a friend, I'm really happy to see it.
Well, this retrospective shows a number of elements of Donna's genius and talent. Some of the more obvious aspects of the beauty and talent are the paintings. Some of the less obvious aspects of it are what might be considered the more mundane parts of the display, the Life magazine, the cast-off film on the bottom. Part of Donna's subtle genius is to create atmospheres and platforms and areas that are cohesive wholes and work on you in very subtle ways.
Each window is an abstract composition that becomes a little story center of its own. There's a narrative told of the progression of realism through to abstraction in both two-dimensional art, three-dimensional art, and on the screen, which brings you into the dimension of time. So I'm crossing dimensions now with the skills I've gained. I think that's why I'm referred to as a transmedia artist.
To me, her work is not only relevant, but it's even more so because these are the last of those New York artists that really had vision and have been innovative and have told stories in unique ways. So, you know, I think it's extremely important that they're actually honoring her work now. It's like it's a personal victory, I think, for her as an artist, but also for women as filmmakers.
This opportunity to experience a moving painting, moving through time and space through light, is a very, very unique technique that Donna pioneered and she perfected and she probed. And I think Donna has made a huge contribution to our culture.
Donna's having this retrospective and the exposure to perhaps unsuspecting pedestrians who are walking by and aren't expecting to see art that will work on their psyches in the way that art does is quite amazing.
Personally, this exhibit is very meaningful to me. I have found many inspirations for future works in my conversations with viewers. It has given my work a very special new life on the street, and to be seen with the same respect that a male artist would be seen. It is a very important venue, and it is important that venues such as the Kimmel Center continue to give opportunities to minority groups.
She's continued to excel in her work, regardless of what, you know, and be recognized at places like MoMA and all these galleries all over the world, regardless of what different institutions are teaching are the highest levels of success. You know, I think that actually she's achieved it.
Art is life itself. You can't plan it, you can't anticipate it, you can only live it in the present. It is unnameable, it is beyond description, something that changes with each breath, with each step, with each moment, with each second of time. Art is transforming, art is transmedia. Transmedia, like life, is art. This is my life, this is my work, this is cinematic paper emulsion. This is my persistence of vision.